Welcome to a quick review video. Today we're lucky enough to have the Nissan 400Z, or the new Z. Straight into some wheel spin there. Not bad. It definitely puts you into the seat. Hey guys, welcome to a quick review video. Today we're lucky enough to have the Nissan 400Z, or the new Z, in our hands thanks to Omoshiroi Car Rental. We do some work with these guys, we coat their cars, and we've just finished doing a nice coating on this car, but today we are delivering the car back to them, and we thought this would be a great opportunity to do a quick review on the car and just see what it's like to drive in the street, because obviously not many people have been able to get their hands on this car yet. We were coating the car in the shop and a lot of people were kind of stopping out the front to say, oh, this is the new Z, it's my first time to see it, so happy to have my first drive in it now. So starting off with the initial thoughts of the interior. I'll have a bit of space to push it in a sec, but so far I'm really happy with the upgrades they've done. Me personally, I know they haven't done any new chassis, but I've really liked what they've done to the interior because it's just brought the car into the modern era, which has kind of been a weak spot generally in a lot of Japanese sports cars in the past. But now you're seeing like the new Supra, the new FL5 Civic, this car, they've really caught up in terms of their styling and then their quality inside. So super big tick on that front. Straight into some wheel spin there and straight into getting cut off right there. Good start. A few interesting points about this car is it's the original chassis that was in the previous Z, so the 370. But outside of that, there's quite a few things that are different. One being the engine. So previously the Z ran a naturally aspirated 6-cylinder. But in this car, we now have a twin turbo 6-cylinder. It's making around 400 horsepower, which is quite a nice number. So outside of that, this car comes with a heavy duty clutch supplied by Exceedy. So you can kind of give this car a bit of attitude and not have to baby it too much, because straight out of the factory, straight out of the box, you've got some nice features like that inside it. And this engine was previously available in the Infinity line. I guess a lot of you guys might know that, but one problem with that car was that it did not come with a LSD, so you'd end up having, yeah, maybe a good platform for putting some power down, but you wouldn't have an LSD to distribute that properly. So this car does come with an LSD, and of course the twin turbo V6. So it's got all the right stuff in it. The drivetrain as well, it's actually a carbon drivetrain, so you can kind of be more aggressive and drop the clutch and just stand on the power and kind of abuse it in that way, because this car is able to take it with all the pieces that it comes from factory. So that's great. That's a bit of the stats that are available for this car. Outside of that, let's talk a little bit about how it feels. I would say straight off the bat, super comfortable. Maybe not the first word you'd want to say when you're driving a sports car, but definitely comfortable in terms of the ride quality. There's not a whole lot of road noise. I got a truck right next to me and not really any problems hearing. That's great. I would say that's got its good and bad sides, because you've got a comfortable car, but you've kind of bought this as a sports car. And I would say like the feelings are just a little bit numb in general. And Jackie drove this car yesterday and kind of had a similar feeling where this car was quick in a straight line, but you've just got a little bit of lack of data coming out, feedback coming out from the steering, a little bit of floatiness in the body. So these are two, core ingredients that you'd want to have a bit more information coming out in a sports car. Another aspect of this car is the sound, of course. It's a little bit quiet. You notice when you start it up, not a whole lot of noise, but when you get on it, so it definitely pulls well, but the problem is the sound is not actually real. So you've got fake sound pumped into the cabin. From the outside, the car's a bit more quiet, but personally, I think for me, the power aspect of this car, it's a big tick, definitely. There's a few, X's I would say in terms of just the numbness on the steering, but definitely the power is a big tick. You might have just heard a bit of the floatiness that we were talking about. This car got a little bit lively over the bumps there and started to really get extra floaty, lose a lot of the weight over the rear. So yeah, definitely if I was to have this car, this is one of the first changes I would make, would be to do the suspension. Put something just more sporty, more stiff in, because it does a great job at riding comfortable, but as soon as you get on the power, you've just got really no sort of support in the high speed. It's too floaty. Nice to find that out. I think overall my takeaway so far is that this car goes in a straight line really well, but when it comes to trying to go into the cornering, it's a little bit below par, just in terms of, say how refined the newer Supra and stuff is. I just feel like this is a little bit lower than that. So not that I'm saying it's a bad car, definitely fun to drive so far, but you just want a bit more rawness and a bit more capabilities out of a sports car, I think, out of the box. I think the torque number on this car is around 500 Newton meters. Not bad. It definitely puts you into the seat. Let's go for another pull, just see on highway, with some rolling speed, what kind of pull we can get from it. Not too bad, not too bad. This car is a stick shift, 6-speed, but it comes with the auto blip feature. So when you want to downshift, like I'll do right now, you've got a really nice rev match, straight up to 95% good, I would say, in terms of its positioning of the rev. So that's great. Sports driving and just on the circuit gives you one less headache, right? You don't need to worry about the heel and toe as precisely. So it's a nice feature. You can turn it off. There's an S mode button you can see down here. We've got obviously start and stop button on the other side, the S mode button. This button, when you press it down, will take out the auto blip feature. There's a few other quirks that come with this button. For example, this car can also do flat shifting. I've not tried it myself, but it's available. There's also a launch control, which is partially activated through here too. So these are some nice features available on the car. Personally, I'm a big fan of the auto blip. It's just a nice, satisfying way to drive if you can turn it off, because sometimes you just want to do everything yourself. But when I'm driving the car and just enjoying it, it's nice to get a satisfying downshift with minimal effort on daily driving. So I think this car, because in my opinion, there's a lot of sports cars that I just couldn't get myself to be comfortable and enjoy driving daily. But this car kind of does it for me in terms of how I could see myself driving this thing without any real compromise. The fact that it's a sports car, but it's got the capabilities of a daily. Here's another Z up ahead, 350. 2 gens prior. So from low range revs, it pulls pretty well actually. So definitely a decent amount of torque. On the highway, I'm cruising in 5th gear, 95 Ks and 2,500 revs. From a mileage standpoint, gas mileage, this car does pretty well. It's 10.5. So for a sports car, you'd maybe expect it to be a little higher than that. Yeah, this car's got definitely a smooth feel to it. Everything's done sort of in a way where I think it's gone for that kind of premium feel in terms of you've got a lot of like separation from all the rattles, all the bumps, the jolts on the road, but at sacrifice of a little bit of feedback. This is one area that I kind of think European cars do pretty well at. They seem to have this ability to still convey the feedback, but in a way where you're not hitting sort of jolts and bumps and rattles as aggressively. And to me, this car has kind of masked those, but losing a little bit of feedback. So yeah, very interesting. If I had to give a quick summary on this car, I would say the main positives are the power, the styling, also the platform itself to make further power in the future. I think it's great. Obviously ECU tuning super doable with twin turbo. Outside of that, some great features as well. You've got the auto blip, you've got the flat shifting, you've also got a lot of premium stuff inside to help make your daily driving much more convenient. So this car's got more use outside of just being a sports car. So for those reasons, I think maybe it's justified its price tag. It's definitely on the more expensive side of things compared to what the Z used to be. The Z used to be the more affordable option. You could go in for a lot less than what it is now. I think we're pushing around 7 million yen here in Japan, and previously the Zs were around 5 million or even 4 million. You know, the prices have gone up, but so have all the features. What would I say some negatives are? For me, there's a little bit of dullness in terms of the feedback in the steering and also just the suspension as well. The brakes do stop well. I think it's 4-pot front, single pot rear. They do stop well. You know, there's a lot of cars now running like 6 and 4 rather than 4 and 1, but it doesn't feel like it's compromised on brakes versus, you know, it's a heavy car, but it still stops pretty well. Yeah, just on the negatives, like I said, the dullness, a little bit heavy. Some people are also a bit iffy about the fact that the chassis is not an original chassis to this car, it's the previous gen, but there's a whole bunch of new features in the car. And yeah, definitely a pleasurable experience. So thank you again to Omaren for letting us take it out. And yeah, we'll finish off with some cinematic shots of this car, and hopefully you guys can get a chance to drive one in the future. If you're in Japan, hit up Omoshiroi Rent-A-Car. These guys have a whole bunch of JDMs available to just rent whenever you come here to Japan. So everything from, you know, the 90s, 80s, 70s classics to the modern cars. An FL5 from them, obviously this Z. They've got the Supra, the new GR Yaris as well, GR Corolla they've ordered. So it's a crazy lineup. So definitely check them out. And thank you guys again for watching the channel. Your support means a lot to us, and yeah, let us know what car you guys want to see next in terms of a drive review on, and maybe we can take some to the track too. So let us know what you think.
Okay, so that's it for the Z, for the Z. ZZ. Anyways, it was a really perfect job because we actually went into super detail, like all these gaps and stuff. We also clear out all the compound residue, and result came out really good. And we just returned the car back to Omoshiroi Rent-A-Car, which was we already did FL5 before in here. And yeah, this is the second job, second like hyped car. So we are really happy to be able to get our hands on the new Z. And what do you think, Jake?
Yeah, it's been fortunate for us to be able to have such a close connection with them, and they've been very kind to let us take their cars on, take a drive as well. So obviously we did a great job on this car. There was some water stain that was a little bit harder to take out than we expected, but we've all got it back to 100%. FL5 was also a great one for us in terms of coding and driving. Same with this car, so looking forward to more in the future. And yeah, definitely big shout out to Omaren. You can see behind us the big lineup of cars they do have here. It's everything from new to old. and this fits right in amongst that. So yeah, very
also
cool
they
spot.
really specialize not just in JDM category. They also have like Porsche Boxster to for rental. So if
Benz
you're
as
a
well.
tourist, Benz as well. If you're a tourist, if you come over to Japan, make sure you take a visit of Omoshiro Rental Cars headquarters, because they have like crazy lineup. So it will amaze you, 100%.
Yeah. So we'll link them in the description as well. You guys can check them out. What would your pick be if you could take one car from here today?
From here today, huh? We got the GTR over here. Got the GR Yaris, GTT. I think I would go for the FL5, to be honest. Even it's still here.
Might be rented, huh?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really popular right now. I think the Z will be really soon being rent out as well.
Probably, yeah.
And yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think for me, I'd be kind of keen to drive this Evo over here and just try it out. Yeah. There's all these nuggets tucked away. There'll be RX-7s over there somewhere, I'm sure.
Right.
Oh, there are, yeah. In
the
yellow.
yellow one, right?
Yeah. So cool. Thanks very much for watching, guys. We're going to wrap it up now, and catch us next time on Shogun in a week's time. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment down below. Stay tuned for the next video.